Hello, this is Amy Lee, the Productive Mama, and this is take two. It's hit or miss with me. Some people said they could hear me last time, and some said they could not hear me. Um, so I'm doing things a little differently, which means I may or may not be able to uh, see your comments. When I've done it this way in the past, I've had trouble. Somebody, at least one person can hear me now. Okay, today we're going to talk about how to inspire your kids to clean up and help around the house. Um, and I am giving away a House Fairy membership. I have been singing the House Fairy's praises lately. I remembered how much we loved her, how much fun she was, and how much she helped us out. Um, but as I put in the description, with or without the House Fairy, your kids should be helping you around the house because you're a busy mama. Um, Okay, so let's see. Oh, for the giveaway, you need to make one comment, like what is your best tip for getting kids to help around the house, or ask, a legitimate on-topic question about this topic, and then boom, there you go, you're entered. You get another entry if you share this video. Just message me that you did so. Um, and those of you who might be watching this not on Facebook, um, just send me a note that you shared this YouTube video with someone else and you're entered. And every comment needs to be offered by Friday. And then sometime over the weekend, I'll get all the names and use random.org to pick the winner. Okay, so I always preface, when I talk about anything, I always preface it with I am not perfect. My kids are not perfect. I have 3 kids. And I have been, I would say, struggling for years. I think we're all probably struggling a lot, keeping everything going and in order and getting our kids to do what we'd like them to do. So they're not perfect, but they do their own laundry. In fact, one of them insists on doing her own laundry because the rest of us can't do it right. They do dishes, they cook, they, in general, help around the house. I would not say without reminders. They need reminders and sometimes incentives and motivations. But at least I know they know how to do these things even when they don't want to. Here we have Adrian. Thank you for your tip. Make a chart about what each kid should do and have consequences or rewards. And you need help implementing this. So I have something that we did that was really useful that is along the lines of a chore chart that I'll talk about here in a little bit. All right, so let's get your kids helping out at home more. First, I just like to remind you, you are not your kids' hired help. That is not your job. You are the mom, and what is your job is to teach them those life skills like cooking and cleaning for the capable adults that you're raising. Also, you are a mom. You're busy. You have a lot going on and a lot of things to manage. When your kids begin managing more jobs, it frees you up to switch your focus to other tasks. So when you know you can ask your kid to unload the dishwasher, now you have 5 minutes, which doesn't seem, it seems like a long time when you ask the kid to unload the dishwasher. The drama of the response that you might possibly get might make it seem like this is a 1-hour job, but it's really just a few minutes. But now you can do whatever it is you need to do. Write a few checks to pay a few bills. Go look for those little things that always happen. Go look for the gift wrapping for somebody's birthday party or things like that. When your kids chip in, it frees you up to do the mom tasks that they cannot do. They can unload the dishwasher. They can't sign their own, permission slips and things like that. Okay, so a few thoughts to get started. Do not expect perfection the first, second, or 22nd time they do a job. Expect to teach them. When you say, go make your bed, kids are not born knowing how to make a bed. You might have to break that down into much smaller tasks for them, and expect to teach them more than once how to do whatever it is you want them to do, especially if you do want perfection. or you are picky about a certain job, you're going to have to show them how to do it the way you want. Okay? Prioritize and pick your battles. You might care way more about a made bed than the next mom, but you get to set your own house rules. So prioritize what is important to you that your kids know how to do, what is important to you to have done in your house. Maybe a clean table is way more important to you than a perfectly set table, or maybe it's the opposite. You don't care if there are a few crumbs on your table, but when you sit down to eat, you want everything to be there that you need. Let's see, we've got Nicole says, after seeing your last post, I was thinking it would be fun to team up and make house fairy videos for each other to use. Super simple, maybe a wig and a wand so our own kids won't recognize us. That is really cute. As you can see, I'm not really creative when it comes to the videos, but maybe you could spearhead that. So email me and we'll talk. Okay, so now we're going into some tips in getting those kids to help out. Expectations. Clear expectations are important. If kids understand that they're expected to take care of their own dishes, it eventually happens on its own. And I say eventually. Here's my confession. For the past 10 years, our rule in our house has been you get your chores done before you start your schoolwork. 10 years. Every day. I have to remind my kids about this, okay? It is expected. Is it done every day? No. So eventually, in 10 more years, I might have one kid at home still. No, I won't. I had her younger. So hopefully it'll take less than 10 more years. But in general, a general expectation in the household of what contributions are expected, that just starts you out right. If you haven't expected certain chores to be done, well, it's going to take a little more effort to get there. One advantage of bigger families, and I don't have a particularly big family, is younger children often see older siblings doing their tasks, and they just assume that's how it's done in this house, if they've known no other way. So it makes it easier for the younger kids to learn. So you have a little one coming up, a 3-4-year-old, and they just see all the older siblings clear their place at dinner. That's just what's modeled to them, and so they start to pick that up pretty naturally. So I kind of think you have to work on those older ones so they know what's expected and do it, and then the younger ones follow a little more easily. Not necessarily, not every kid, but in general, that's what I've seen. Establish a culture of helping in your house. So this sort of goes with expectations. I have to say to my kids, our home doesn't run unless we all chip in. So if you want me to take you to those birthday parties, if you want me to lead scouts, if you want to go to that cheerleading fundraiser, I need your help. In order for me to make time for your things, I need you to make time to help out at home. So that's sort of the culture of helping that we're talking about. We all play our part. I don't expect my little kid to leave the house every day and go earn money. That's not their role, but they do have a role that does help out the entire family. And again, I mentioned earlier, our rule at our house is chores come first before schoolwork. Your first duty is to your household, is to the home, is to the family. That's your first duty, is doing your part to help out, and then you do your schoolwork. Okay, so we're probably talking about now the older kids that you have, or those that are just learning. Maybe you're wanting to kind of step it up and get more help around the house. Here's some tips for that. Be sure you're modeling what you want to see and with minimal complaining. So if your kids are growing up and you're unloading the dishwasher while kind of banging the dishes around because it's your least favorite job, or huffing and sighing about how hard it is to sweep this floor or do whatever, well, they're definitely picking up on the message of this is work and this is no fun and mom doesn't want to do this. Why would I want to do it, right? So model what you want to see and try to avoid the complaining. I'm not perfect at that. There's plenty of times I know I've had huge sighs when making dinner or doing dishes or things like that. But it helps if you do your jobs. I won't say with joy in your heart. That's what I always tell my kids. You should be doing this with joy, but with not anger in your heart. Okay. Um, a big part of having your kids start learning to help is to avoid overwhelm. You want to make it easy. So again, if you give a kid a big job, like go make your bed for little kids, for some kids, that's a big job. There's many steps in that. So that can be overwhelming. If you say, set the table, again, huge job. You want to break it down. You want to teach them as they grow up the small parts of that, help with just the utensils or just the plates, but also make it easy. You want to put your dining ware, cups, place settings, utensils, all of that where it can really easily be reached, because if they have to climb up onto a stool to grab 5 really heavy plates, that's hard. That doesn't make it easy for them. They're not going to be able to help you. Okay, and so maybe you keep your plates up high, you take it down for them. But what can be accessible to them? The placemats, the napkins. We always had, I don't know if I put this, we have a bin at their level that has all the plastic cups that we have them use, bowls, things like that. And we actually still keep our utensils in a little caddy right in the middle of the table so everybody can reach what they need when they need it. Okay, so avoid overwhelm, make it easy. Putting storage containers low so kids can pack up leftovers after dinner. That's another tip. So could be glass, could be plastic, but if it's really easy for them to get to, they're more likely to not dread and not complain about packing up those leftovers if they can get to all the lids and everything that they need. Take advantage when they're really young of their eagerness to do grown-up jobs. Give them wet rags, a broom, etc., and to work alongside you. So you might have to go back later to touch that up, or they're not going to do a perfect job. But I just remember my oldest playing Cinderella, basically. I came back and Grandma was playing Cinderella, and they were cleaning my floors, basically, by doing that. Tie fun things to completing needed tasks. So when they ask you, can I watch whatever your kids are watching? Can I watch a show? Yes, right after the laundry is folded. Okay, this is a real world skill we all have to learn. Work first, play after. Okay, can I get the Legos out? Yes, right after we unload the dishwasher. So you're saying yes, and you're saying, yeah, we can do that stuff when we get our work done first. And that seems like a small thing, but that's something a lot of kids don't really understand. So if you're trying to be better about getting their help, so sometimes if you're not used to getting your kids help, if they ask those questions, can I do this? You might not off the top of your head know what to ask them for, or even remember what kind of tasks you should be asking them to do. So make a list of tasks they can currently do and post it somewhere. Put it on the refrigerator, put it somewhere where you can see it, and reevaluate it periodically. So, sorry, I can't see if there are comments. So right now, maybe your kids can fold napkins, put away clothes, dust some safe area that they can dust, wipe down counters, whatever it is. Make a list of those if you're really trying to change some of your own habits, because a lot of this is changing our habits and what we automatically do and go to. Okay, so post those tasks they can do somewhere, or maybe post them and tell them, here's a list of things. Before you ask me to do something optional, like play a video game or whatever, check that list and see if you can do anything first. Okay? Don't criticize their best job. Don't redo it either. Now, of course, you have to know when they're really trying and have done their best job. And don't redo it. Your little one can't fold and put clothes away at your skill level. but did he or she get the clothes in the drawer and somewhat close to a folded state? Go with it. Okay. No one is looking, no one is judging. That's not something that, um, people walk into your house and say, oh, those clothes are sticking out of the drawer. Um, when you redo their jobs, it sends the message that they're not capable. So if you never let them pick out their clothes and get dressed themselves, it's kind of telling them that's not something you can do. I don't think you can do that. Or if you go back behind them and resweep everything where they can see it, sometimes you might have to go back behind them and touch up a job. But if you check their job and then right in front of them go back and redo it, it sends the message, you don't know how to do this. You can't do this. And then they might give up. So while you might think, wow, they stunk at that job, they did not do what I wanted, that's your indicator to spend some time working on that skill later, when everybody's fresh, when you're not bugged that they didn't do a good job. A super messy room might annoy you, but it might not be that bad. So you could focus on safety and natural consequences. So, oh, no food in here because bugs are a huge problem. So your kid might want to eat in their room, but especially if your kid hates bugs, that's kind of motivating not to mess up the room with bugs. We had to do this one a lot. I can't come tuck you in and give you a goodnight kiss because my feet might get stabbed with Legos, toys, whatever it is. So come out here and get your kiss instead. Now, if you have kids that really like to be tucked in bed, get that goodnight kiss in bed, that might be motivating. Wow. I would just say there's not a clear path for me. It is not safe for me to come in there. So sorry, just come out here to get your kiss. Okay. So that's what I mean by, focus on some of those natural consequences. Because kids taking care of their own room, some kids, yes, get very into keeping their room neat. But a lot of kids don't care, do not see, even now, my teenagers, after making dinner or cleaning up, they do not see everything that I see when I look at that kitchen and those counters. They just don't see it. Little kids are definitely not going to see things the way you do. Okay, some other consequences. We can't add any more toys until you take care of your current ones. So we're not bringing anything new into this room, into this house, until I see you can take care of what you already have. Or another one I had to use a lot, there's no room for friends in there, so we'll have to hold off on play dates until it's safe for friends to visit. And so if you have kids that love to visit and have play dates, that might be motivating. Oh, sorry, we just can't there's no place for anybody to sit in there. So we're just going to wait. A lot of parents do the anything that doesn't get put away gets tossed, or they go in with the trash bag and put everything that's left on the floor, clear it out, put it in the trash bag. Some of them hide them until another time or until they're asked for, and some just go ahead and toss them. So if you like that strategy, that's one for you. I was never too good at that. Setting a timer is also a great strategy because then the kids know, instead of sending your kid to their room and saying, you are not coming out until your room is perfectly clean, and the kid's like, my room will never be perfectly clean, I'm going to be in here forever, and they get overwhelmed. Set a timer. Just work as hard as you can for 10 minutes, and they know it's finite. And we always had the 10-minute tidy. So it's just rush, do the 10-minute tidy, and then we're done. Okay. Okay, chore cards. So let's see. Adrienne talked about a chore chart, which is great. Anytime you have just a list that everybody can refer to, even me. One of my struggles is that I had a huge list in my brain of what I wanted everybody to do, kids, me, but if I didn't have a way to reference that, if I didn't write it down, I would forget what I wanted the kids to do. Then they might go to bed and I would get bugged because, they didn't do that. I was bugged at myself. I forgot to tell them to do that. So we had chore cards. And the beauty of these cards is that they attach to the kids' clothing. Okay, so this system was from managers of their chores. I believe they still sell this system. they had pre-reading chore cards so that there'd just be pictures and the kids knew what the pictures meant. And they slid into this little plastic sleeve that attached to their clothing. Okay. And we would just go through this one, then this one. I had them in a particular order. This next one, and they were not allowed to take it off their clothing until it was done. It's kind of easy to ignore chore charts. You know, you can hang them up. They become part of the scenery. You stop seeing them. But something is dangling from your clothes. It's harder to ignore it. It's harder for the kid to ignore it. It's harder for you to ignore it when you see it there. And you can say, oh, did you get everything done? Let's go through. And, you know, you don't want to have 25 cards in there. These are sort of the basics. But what was nice about it is that I could make cards that broke a chore down into its steps. So that's another thing I have. Break down chores that you give your kids. So instead of saying make the bed, you might need to say 1, remove the pillows. 2, remove toys and clothing from the bed. 3, fold the blankets. 4, put the blanket back on the bed. 5, put the pillows back, or whatever your process is and your standards are for making the bed. I had pretty loose standards when it came to that. I could even make cards that broke down that chore into smaller steps so that a young kid wouldn't necessarily get overwhelmed with make the bed and get lost in that chore. Okay, so that was those chore cards for managers of their chores were great for us. I used those for years, and then I think I even kept a set to remind me of them because they were such a part of our life. Okay. Chore charts are great too. I've seen some new interesting ones out there that that look great, that have rewards and consequences tied to them. What was the name of that? I cannot remember. I will try to find it. Adrian, it was not cheap, but you know, it's a one-time investment, and again, I think this is something that's ongoing. So over the years, you'll get your money's worth out of it. But you could obviously make your own. There are so many. I bet if you go on Pinterest, there are a million cute chore charts out there. Using chalkboards, using everything. As you all may or may not know, I am not crafty, so I have to like get those things already put together. Okay, so that's my chore card plug. Look into that. It's awesome. Along with breaking jobs down, there's breaking jobs into chunks. So many times I did this. Instead of saying, go clean your room or go clear off the floor, I would have to say, go pick up just the trash. Okay. Or go find anything made of cloth. Let's pick that up. Or whatever it is in your house. Now just go pick up all the Legos. Or if it belongs to a doll, go pick it up. I have to break it down into small chunks like that. And then the other thing is to get plastic lightweight baskets, maybe a big around is what you can do with your arm there. They're easy to stack and stash. And I would just get out like 3 baskets and put the clothes in here, you can use them in so many different ways. So if it's just room cleaning, put your clothes in here, put your toys in here, put the trash in here, or whatever. Or take them out and let's go around the house, and anything that does not belong in the room that you're in, put it in this basket, and then we'll take it to where it does belong. Baskets just make it easy to divide things up in a very visual, easy way. Let's see. Oh, using photos. So if your kid, you know, brings you to his room and says, yes, look at my bed and I clean my room. And you look at it and you think, no, not even close. Get the kid's room in order, help them, train them as you do it, and then take a picture of the completed, finished state. You can laminate it, you can blow it up, you can just print it on paper, whatever is easy for you, and put it somewhere where they can easily reference it so that you can take the picture, stand by the bed, look at the bed in the picture and say, does this match? And the kid can easily see whether or not it matches, because for some kids, a long list of written instructions, you're going to lose them. But a picture is really easy for them to compare, especially pre-readers. I've always thought pre-readers do not, at least for compared to me, they see the things I don't see because they're looking at the world in a different way. I'm always looking for the letters and the words. They can really compare those pictures very easily. Okay, I think that's most of my tips. Be consistent. Basically, it can get exhausting for you, I know, to every day repeat the same requests or to say, have you done this yet? Have you done this yet? But be consistent. This is what I expect, so every day I'm going to ask you about it. And then thank them. That would be my last tip, I guess. Oh, my kid today, before I got out of bed, had unloaded the dishwasher. And I did go into the kitchen and think, after I had kind of finished up breakfast, I thought to myself, wow, the dishwasher was empty. I just assumed it was empty from last night or something. I don't know. And she said, I did the dishwasher. I unloaded the dishwasher. Oh, thank you so much. Not only thank you, but why you're so grateful for that. That helps me so much because I could get right to making lunch after breakfast. Or, the joke in my household is that I'm always working 2 meals in advance, so I can get right to dinner. Or I could go ahead and start this other job. Or why was it so helpful? Why are you so thankful that they did that job for you? And we all, moms, you probably work really hard every day just to feed your family. They might not thank you every night. We're working on that here. So if you would like to be thanked for kind of the stuff that everybody assumes you're going to do, that's just part of your job description, you can thank your kids too for the things that they do. And thank your spouse, have your spouse thank you so that the kids see that appreciation of everybody pitching in the family, and just kind of grow up again with that culture of helping and those expectations. So those are my main tips that I had written down. Please feel free to share any tips that you have about getting your kids to help or questions that you have, and I can kind of speak to those. Everybody that does so by Friday will be entered into the House Fairy drawing. And the House Fairy is great because she makes it fun and the kids are more motivated to help out. It just brings a little magic to it, which is fun for everybody, a little less nagging for you. So I don't think I see, maybe special needs tips. I'm sure it depends on the special need, but if you have a kid who would do better with, really concrete steps, then that might be what you have to do. Make really concrete steps, break the jobs down or have it written so that it can be easily referenced. Or like I said, pinning it right to their shirt might help a kid that's easily distracted. I'm trying to think of what other special needs issues there might be. Really making things easy. So if your special needs might be more physical, as I said earlier, making the job really easy. So if you are expecting them to fold laundry, then you need to make sure that that basket is accessible and not too heavy, that they can reach whatever job it is, that they can reach the cleaning materials, that if you need them to unload the dishwasher, that they don't have to climb up anything to put things away, things like that. But Adrienne, if you have something more specific, I can try to speak to it. I don't have that much direct experience with my own kids, but I can try to get creative. And Melanie Ann asks, how does a House Fairy work? Just show them the video. So when you log in, she gives you very clear, here, start here, look through this, and read through this. And it really takes you through it. She kind of holds your hand. But yes, so part of it is videos where she tells the kids um, what they need to do, what's expected of them, teaches them. What I liked is that, here's what I expect to see as the house fairy. When I come to your room, I want to see the pillow on the bed or whatever it is. Um, so a lot of it she does for you, but things like actually leaving the prizes or the fairy dust that you need to get. Sorry, the house fairy doesn't come and leave those prizes. You have to do that. And I think in my post I talked about um, some of the ways I tried to be a little sneaky and make it not so obvious that it was me by changing up the times that she came, um, things like that. And sometimes when I felt like, okay, they're just not getting this part of it, I would leave a note from the house fairy. And the other thing she does is you can take a before photo um, and then an after photo that are published in the house fairy website that the kids can then see. Oh, look, we got our rooms are so great. The house fairy put them up. And this is more for the room cleaning. I know less about the general behavior stuff. So hopefully that answered your question. Adrian. Okay, so Asperger's. So I would say, and Kayla, if you're still here, feel free to chime in on this. Really making things clear and not overwhelming. So, you're not going to start, especially if your kid hasn't been doing that much so far, you're not going to start with a huge goal like do all the laundry or clean your entire room, but maybe you start with the bed. And also you can, if your kid has a particular thing, so doesn't like bugs or hates wrinkles in the sheets, right? Because I had a kid that hated bubbles in the bed, wrinkles in the bed. So it might be wise to start with something that they're highly motivated by or really into. If maybe it's a pet, maybe there's a pet they just love. So maybe jobs taking care of the pet might be a good place to start. Start small, break it into small steps. Because you really aren't going to have your kid, you say he has trouble figuring out how to do things. Don't leave that part. I would say even for any kid, don't leave the part of figuring it out how to do it to them. You want to teach them how to do it, how you want it done. So don't worry about letting them figure out how to do it. You need to break it down for any kid, but especially a special needs kid. I don't even know how many steps would be reasonable. 4 or 5 steps that you might list out. So again, remove the pillow, remove the blankets, pillow, blanket, straighten sheets, blankets back, pillows back, remove toys, whatever it is. That's what I would say there. Any other suggestions? Again, Kayla, if you're here, feel free to chime in about special needs conquering tasks. And I will just wait another minute or so. And thank you guys for contributing. And if you're not watching this live, please feel free to add your questions or comments. All of us are eager to see more tips about getting your kids helping around the house more. Remember, it's future roommate and spouse training. Your future daughter or son-in-law will be so grateful to you. All right, guys. I will be in touch with whoever the winner ends up being. And please share this, spread the love, let other people enter to win. And I will come back shortly. Going to go finish dinner prep, and then I'll see if anybody else had more to say. Thank you.